Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're doing deck number 277 with Evra, Halcyon Witness. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that right. Anyway, yeah, it's another mono white deck, but I really thought this one was very interesting because of that colon is just you can obviously swing with her, and then as soon as it's not blocked, spend the 4 mana, swap life, you're dealing 44 commander damage. Oh, no, my bad. Exchange your life total. You're dealing whatever your life total's at. You're playing this as a 6 cost. You're probably not at 40. You're probably taking some damage. So you're in the 30s anyway, probably, if that's your thing. But say your life total's 30. You swap it. Now your commander's dealing 30. You gain that life immediately back. And you're at 34. Because you swapped your life to 4. Now, you have a risky moment there where you are vulnerable. You are at 4 life. Now, you just have to read the table. If you've got somebody that you think has 4 points of instant damage, that's probably not a good thing to do. You probably need to wait. But anyway, that being the only downside, albeit a big downside, let's have fun with some life gain. So the first thing I wanted to put in was she costs 6, and that's quite a lot. So let's go through some ramp here. It's not stellar ramp, you know. I mean, I'm obviously out of soul rings, pristine talisman, marble diamond, Cisse's ring. Of course, all of these obviously cost less than her. Mind stone, thunder totem, power stone, and I know the power stone is not that good, but it's what we got. Star Compass, Guardian Idol, Mana Prism, yeah, reaching way back here. The Chalice, and while not really ramp, the Expedition map goes and gets Rogue's Passage. I mean, there's no other reason for it to get anything else, well, unless you already have the Rogue's Passage in your hand or in play when you draw it, but in that case, it goes and gets the Drown Your Temple. Now, the Drown Your Temple is great with a lot of things, but in this deck, it's going to... these two cards, reaping the rewards here is kind of like a 1-mana Zero and Orb effect. I mean, you gain the 2 life, you can buy back sack a land, which obviously you want to sacrifice to Drown Your Temple. The whole cycle costs you 4 mana to gain 2 life, so it's not terribly efficient. But if you got nothing else to do with your mana, might as well. Now, creatures that are going to gain me some life, it ain't real creature heavy. I mean, we have the Soul Warden and then her attendant sister, the Sunstriker, which I don't know how this made the cut, to be honest with you. It's a 2/2 lifelink for 2. Yeah, it'll get replaced by something. We have Horse Tribe, which I really like this. I think it would have been simple, creative enough to name this just Sunmare, and then you could have had anyway. But yeah, you're going to make some tokens, going to make some horses. Now, Resolute Archangel. We do have a lot of life gain in the deck, but there's going to be times when you don't have your, all of your life. And for that, I am running the Resolute Archangel. Now, 7 mana is quite a bit. So we do have Oketra's Last Mercy, which kind of almost costs 7. It definitely costs 6. I guess that's the closest thing they could do to put Echo on a sorcery, if you think about it. So, Angelic Accord is another token maker that when you gain life, What I like about this is at the beginning of each upkeep. So your Soul Warden. Now, granted, they got to do some pretty crazy shenanigans for you to gain 4 life on a Soul Warden, but hey, it happens. Let's look at strapping up our general. Giving it trample. Now, granted, here the life link doesn't really, I mean, we've already got it. But the +3 and the trample is while we're playing this. Armored Ascension, because we are totally playing mono white. Now, I think I have 4 non-basic, so it's not incredibly unsynergistic with it. Whisper Silk Cloak. Now, granted, Whisper Silk Cloak, once you get it on there, that's it. This is Harry Potter's invisibility cloak, but the Haunted Cloak, here again, trample. Vigilance is nice too. Fire Shrieker is going to give it double strike, so is Battle Mastery, so is Grappling Hook. Because double strike with that much of a power life gain, at this point, I don't even care if I'm not hitting the player. I'm gaining crazy amounts of life. And then Sunbond. Now, I had to read this one twice because it says put that many. So if you gain 10 life, you're going to put 10 +1 counters. Wow. Yeah. I guess, that's totally why it costs 4. While we're at it, let's look at some of the other life gain. We have a Landbind Ritual. Now, I can honestly tell you, I don't think I've ever cast this card. It does cost 5. You're not wanting to ramp this joker out for sure. This is... it's epic life gain. I mean, you're going to gain a bunch of life off of this, but that's kind of all it does. Life gain cards don't really see a lot of play, but in this deck, we're trying to gain life because life gain equals general pump, essentially. Orm's Prayer. Orm's Prayer is one of the great early turn plays. You just, it discourages them 1/1s. Soul's Grace. Here again. But this is at instant speed, and this is something good to hold up for when you're in that vulnerable moment. You've swapped life, you've gone down to 4, seconds away from dealing that awesome combat damage, and somebody fire blast you, or whatever. I'm going to Soul's Grace. I'm going to gain that 30 back. Angel's Feather, it doesn't, I mean, it's not hella awesome, but it is really good in this particular deck. Just white spell. Not quite as good as the Sun Megas, because you get the planes as well. Peace of Mind. You can ditch random cards to get life. Renewed Faith, Elixir, Spirit Link. The important thing here is you can Spirit Link your general. Spirit Link is not Life Link. There's a rules difference that's too lengthy to explain here, but the difference is Life Link is keyworded, Spirit Link is not. And you can put the Spirit Link on your general and gain double life. I like double life. Double life is good. Now, Congregate's an old one. Back when they used to, this Congregate can get nuts quick. How many games you play where there's a token player in the game? Quite a bit. A lot of go wide strategies. Oh, come on, please play Krinko. Now, Animal Boneyard is not exactly, what's the word I'm looking for? Playable. But here, it might not be bad. In those instances to where I've got this more as defense than anything else, because there's nothing worse than having your general be turned into a stump. I mean, because cards like that don't change zones, so it don't trigger the replacement thing where you can put it back in the command zone. It just sits out there and becomes useless. So in response, I'm just going to sack it. Or, if you draw it afterwards, you can sack it and get back rolling again. Now, Axis of Morality is in there just because I think it's fun. Well, I say that. I've never cast it. But the ability to just trigger it every upkeep, and yeah, while, you're probably only going to trade your life once. It's really cool, the idea of, yeah, at the end of your turn, I'm going to trade my life with my general, and I'm at 4. And then during my upkeep, you're going to be at 4, and I'm going to be at 32, or whatever. So, and then it's also a great political card, and by great I mean unfair, to just start trading your opponent's life totals. Ain't got nothing to do with you. You just, somebody's talking too much trash. Boom. What else we got here? Got Open the Armory to go get some of those equipment, or, auras. The Argivian Fine for when they get blown up and you got to get them back, because it will happen. Now, the Narrow Escape, if any of you play any other games, you'll get that. Munchkin, I think, is what that one was. The Narrow Escape just bounces a permanent, saves it, and you get net 4 life off the deal. Of course, you did pay 3 mana, so make a stand. Anti-wrath, either somebody else's wrath or your wrath or whatever. Of course, we've got our own set. We've got the hour. We got Terminus, which it doesn't protect it. Planar Cleansing. For when you absolutely positively have to kill every. Y'all know where I'm going. Planar Outburst. Here again, I don't know that I've ever cast this for its Awaken. I've never been like, yeah, I want to spend 8 mana, kill everything, and have a 4/4 land. The False Prophet. Now, False Prophet, as you've seen, we're not exactly playing creature heavy. We're really light on creatures. False Prophet can lock up a board. There are generally only 2 responses to False Prophet. Is stop playing creatures or kill it. I mean, he does have a huge bullseye on his head. However, if you play him into an already developed board state by your opponents, they all the exile tech starts coming out. So if you've got your animal boneyard, that's when False Prophet is if you've got something to sack him. Now, speaking of removal, let's look at removal. Now, I put the Visionary in there as removal because, man, it totally is. And all those red or black enchantments that says players can't gain life kind of ruin our deck. So Soltari Visionary, it only saw this one printing. It is an amazing card. Repeatable damage. Yeah, it's going to die. But you really only need to take out one thing to get any kind of value, because if it takes out one thing, you've done 2 damage plus Nuka enchantment. So, I mean, yeah. We have Deicide, because gods are a thing. Now, granted, if they're the general, it's not that good because they just go back to the command zone and whatevs. Revoke Existence. We're really scared of those enchantments. So much so that I'm also running the good old-fashioned Disenchant. Now, Radiant Purge, I was just looking to play the card, Monocolor decks is not something very common. Well, I say that in every 4 or 5 player game, you probably got one, maybe, or but multicolor is extremely popular in our format. As a matter of fact, our format may be the only format to where multicolor is preferred over monocolor. Immolating Glare, Ixalan's Binding, Celestial Purge. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm loving Seal Away. Loving this card. Crib Swap, also for those indestructible guys that you... And then Tariff. Now, Tariff, it's not... I mean, odds are we're going to have a Soul Warden, But it doesn't see a lot of play. I do like it. Now, what do we do if our general gets dealt with? We need backup plans to win. Now, obviously, with so much life gain, Felidar Sovereign is, he was one of the early picks because in your Magical Christmas Land scenario, you're still at 40 life when you swap lives with Evra, and you gain 40 and go up to 44, and you've got her double strike, so you go up to 80, whatever. But with this much dedicated life gain, I still, to this day, I know I said probably 30 or 40 decks back, I've never won a game with Felidar Sovereign. I still haven't. So, I don't know. Maybe this deck's the deck to do it. I just want to do it once. But with this much dedicated life gain, the only thing here is keeping him alive till your upkeep. Which, yeah, you've got the cloak, whatever, but maybe. Now, if that doesn't work, Aetherflux Reservoir. You can, if you've got a good, dependable life gain engine online. Now, granted, if we could add blue to the deck, and we could animate this Joker into a creature and give it lifelink, it would be a 4/4 lifelinker that you could pay 50 life. The reservoir deals the 50 damage, and because it had lifelink, you'd gain that life back. Yeah. I'll probably end up doing a March of the Machines thing before it's over with this. I don't know. But the other version is, good old processor. You pay some life, I don't know, you can pay 20 life. There's a lot of point in times with this deck, you can pay 20 life and, not really hurt you. But being able to crank out a 20/20 token a turn, pretty neat. Well, that is what I've got for life gain Evra. I do appreciate y'all watching. The deck list is up on Tapped Out. I'm trying my hardest to do it for every deck now. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.